everyone. Welcome back to another Core Web Vitals webinar. What is this, our 80th now at this point?
At least at a zero, maybe. We've been a lot.
It's been a lot. So let's just go ahead and wait for a few more people to roll in. But while we're waiting, why don't you let us know where you're watching from? I know that this is pretty early for some of you, pretty late for some others of you, like Adam. But yeah, just let us know where you're at. And just while we're waiting, go ahead and click the subscribe button and like the video so that I can get good remarks from my bosses, and also so that you get all the updates on all the new content that we're going to be pushing out.
I know Matthew's up pretty early to watch the stream as well.
I know, Matthew, I'm so sorry that we keep doing them these early. Yeah, I think it's like 4 a.m. Okay, so yeah. Good morning from England. Hello, Lee Cook from England. Thanks for watching. See anybody else want to chime in? No? All right, well, let's just go ahead and get started talking. So the moment that we've all been waiting for, even though Google pushed it back a couple of times, Core Web Vitals has officially been rolled out. This has been a long time in the making, as you well know if you've been following this webinar series. We've been talking about this moment for, gosh, I think the first webinar we did was back in February. So yeah, it's been a while that we've been screaming at you about this, and now it's finally here. So what we thought we might do today is talk a little bit about how you can make those changes on your site using WooRank, and also if maybe that has already had an impact with Core Web Vitals, is it already becoming a ranking signal? Because Core Web Vitals has been here for a while, as you would know if you've been watching our webinar series. Like, you've already been able to fix those things. You've already been able to implement changes. The rollout is that it is now potentially a ranking signal. Like, this is something that Google is actually looking at now on your site. But as we always say, right, Adam, it's not just about Google. It's about, providing the best page experience that we possibly can for our users. So what we thought we'd do today is look at one of our users' websites and actually look at the different pages, because he's been using our WooRank technology, the WooRank assistant, to comb through all of his pages and make those page experience updates that he needs to do. So Adam, anything to add about just the initial setup here?
No, I mean, that's perfect intro, and just one little extra bit of info. With all the clients that I've been working with over the last couple of weeks in particular, we didn't see a massive shock. We didn't see huge changes in SERPs, which we often see with a lot of the Google updates. Even so much that a few weeks later, Google are like apologizing on Twitter and releasing blogs and saying that they're going to roll back changes. Didn't actually see a lot of that. So this seems to have been, touch wood, fairly well and smoothly implemented, which is good to see, because having stability with people's search rankings is what it's all about. And when they release an algorithm update and you disappear from page one, that's a really scary thing. So far, been really happy with what we're seeing.
It looks like our guest of honor has joined. So Adam, why don't you go ahead and take it away?
All right, I'm going to share my screen. So let's just click and share the right window. Okay, yes, that should be working. I'll let you. Oh, thanks, Coach. That's perfect. All right, so Matthew, welcome along. We are looking at West End Gallery this very early morning. Couple of reasons why. First of all, Matthew's given us full permission to poke and prod his site, so that's always really helpful. But he does have a WooRank Assistant installed, which is great because we get to showcase that as well. Plus some really interesting page speed insights. But let's start with WooRank first. So the project itself, homepage, has a score of 90, which is fantastic. And just to sort of go over these very, very briefly, because I do want to focus on the Core Web Vitals. Title tags, perfect. Can actually see that he's got the brand name and also the locations and the geography in the title tag, which is really great. Perfect to see. If you have a look at some of the competitors, which I won't name by name. If they happen to be watching, they could get WeRank and they could optimize their site as well. But one thing that they don't have in their titles, and this is something I've spoken to Matthew about by email, is their location. So it really helps when you're targeting local people to come to your local business. Put the location in your title. Meta description all checks out. It's great. He's even mentioning there he's got free shipping with the star. It stands out that little bit more than some of the other ones, especially ones that are missing. They don't stand out at all. Desktop version, you can see, looks great, of the Google preview. No problems whatsoever. We go down to the headings. This is an interesting one because a lot of people ask about H1s. Can you have multiple H1s? You can. It's kind of best practice to have each H1 be unique, but you can definitely have H1s if it makes sense. So a little bit what Courtney mentioned before, it's not just about keeping Google happy. Design your website and your content to make people happy. If it makes sense to have two H1s, then absolutely go for it. So that's perfect. So no problems there at all. The content analysis, great. I've mentioned it a few times with the content analysis. The way I like to use this is if I was to approach a random person on the street and say, guess my business, and all I could tell them were the keywords that showed up in the content analysis, like all this keyword cloud sometimes it's referred to, can said person guess my business? And when we look at these, they absolutely can. Not only that, but we can see some keywords in there as well, such as artist names, as well as a location. And so, again, perfect. Having looking at some of the other keywords below, and we see, this is a good example of probably not taking the best advantage. 2016 exhibitions, 2012 exhibitions, could be in relation to anything. Not mentioning an artist name, not mentioning a product, a bit lighter. So this is all good. Alt attributes pass. I love looking at this report. It's just all green, green, green. URLs resolve. If I had a penny for every time this was broken, I'd be a rich man. But this is a really important one. So it's interesting to see how many people still have a problem with this, a URL resolving error. Robots checks out. Well, everything is good. Sitemaps, XML, canonical tags. We've talked a lot about canonicals, so I would expect to see that all green. Robots tag is fine. Working our way down. Mobile friendliness, very good. Can't get better than that. So that's actually that's perfect. Tap targets. This is quite rare, and again, as an SEO person, it's really great to see this because it's hard to get all these things right. Tap targets are perfect. There's nothing that hovers over anything else that causes a problem for Google. Wonderful. Font size, legibility, perfect. It's really quite a simple thing to do, but again, that's a common one that people fail.
Matthew must feel pretty good right now.
Yeah, it is a great report, and I think when we look at some of the rankings and stuff, and you look at the rest of the data, it all makes sense. It's all come together really well. Structured data, open graph. The Twitter is just a minor thing here. There's just a Twitter image missing. It's not even really coming up as an error, more of to improve. All the security is fine, or the technical stuff is secure. This is a rare one to see the performance, all fine and checking out. Asset magnification, compression, caching, image optimization. This is kind of buying the Mustang with the beefy engine. It's got it all. It's really good to see that. So if we just keep scrolling down, you can see everything really checks out. We get into some of the off-page metrics, and this is where it gets a little more competitive, which is fine, but we're still holding a really good backlink score with a lot of backlinks. Maybe not as many as this one, but it's not really just the number of backlinks, but the quality of them. And that's why Matthew's website has got actually a higher score overall. More referring domains as well, always a good thing. Looking at some of the examples of the links themselves, a lot of them 3-star quality. Can't ask for more than that. Traffic this is probably one that this riles up some people. They go, oh, what do you mean my traffic's low or high? You know, what are you comparing it to? It's a good question. It's not really sort of definitively. We're not saying that you know, your traffic is low for your business. It's more when it comes down to we reference the Alexa system. So it's low in regards to traffic to most websites. This doesn't necessarily mean a bad thing. What we're really looking at is comparing it to your competitors. So if your competitors, you know, have all had medium or high, then I'd be really worried about traffic. In this case, I'm not actually that terribly worried because we've got sort of the average, if not slightly higher than the average of the amount of traffic. So I'd be not worrying about the estimation of the volume. I'd be more looking at Google Analytics and having a look at what my traffic's doing. So it's a really good page review. And I also just wanted to point out that if we ran this through PageSpeed Insights, you don't see this very often. We've got 100 on the desktop, which is amazing. 90 on the mobile, which is probably one of the highest scores I've ever seen. I have seen the one 100 on Twitter. Someone posted it, but this is great to see on a live review. So really, really good job. And as you can see, the core web vitals here marked with the little blue flag, all coming up as green. 0 cumulative layout shift. Can't improve on that. Zero.
No, I just want to jump in before we go over to the WooRank Assistant, just for everyone's kind of context. Adam, if you could mute just for a second, because I can hear myself.
Oh, sure.
Matthew and I did have a call a few weeks ago, and he mentioned that he was using the WooRank Assistant to go in and actually make these changes and identify what was going wrong with his core web vitals and making those changes on each page. So for everyone who's watching, this isn't something that he just like ran a WooRank report, started tracking keywords, and implemented the WooRank Assistant, and then everything was just green. And he was like, wow, I'm the luckiest guy in the entire world. Like everything's coming up green for me. This is actual like work and targeted work and focused work that he's been doing for many, many months. And then using the WooRank tools and the WooRank's data to identify these problem areas and fix them. So, I mean, it might happen that you run your first WooRank report and you get a really high score like Matthew and you get 100 on the PageSpeed Insights, but it's not likely that you would get that without actually putting in some of this focus work that we're talking about today. Sorry, Adam, go ahead if you want to show the WooRank Assistant too when you're done with this.
Yeah, look, that's a really good point. You know, it takes a lot of effort to get these greens across the board, to get these high scores. It's not easy at all. So I guess that's why it's so refreshing to see it, because you know, I remember looking at this project over time and seeing it increase in score, you know, seeing some of the support tickets between Matthew and support, and even myself getting involved, helping really nut out some of these issues. But, you know, all credit to Matthew for getting it done. If we go over to the tool, just here. So this is the website. Here's WooRank Assistant down the bottom. I'm just going to click on that. And this is kind of where we can get into using this tool page by page. So, for example, we can see the full report just by clicking the button, and I've got essentially that information on hand, just like we did when I was looking at WooRank, but I don't have to sort of log in. But the best thing about this is I can navigate through the website. So I'm going to pick a random page. Let's go Collector's Choice. Okay, so you can see that I've picked the right one because it hasn't been scanned yet. So the assistant actually lets us know, hey, you haven't scanned this page. So let's scan it and add it to the system. And that basically is very similar to if you go back to the project dashboard and you do page reviews, and then you want to crawl one of the internal pages. That's kind of what we're doing now. So it's just going to crawl that in real time and give us a score. And if there are any issues on this page, we can identify it here and then set about fixing it, just like the rest of the site. So it's just going to take a few seconds.
It's such a helpful feature too, because I know that sometimes it can get a little bit frustrating to have to like manually upload all of your internal pages into the WooRank tool. So the assistant kind of eliminates the need for that toggling back and forth. You can actually run that internal page review right there on your website. It's everything that you're used to seeing within the tool, as Adam is going to show you in a minute. It's your entire report, your score for that page, all of the metrics that we already looked at, but 2 additional metrics as well. So your traffic and now your core web vitals. So Adam, go ahead.
Exactly. So I can quickly just bring up the page score and go, right, I got a 79, which is still a green. That's still a pass and a great score. I'd be very happy with that. But suddenly I can see some things just sticking right out. If I click on the errors, I can see that I don't have a meta description. What are you doing? So, that's one that's really easy to go in and fix. Traffic estimations is coming up as low again. Not surprising considering it's an internal page. It's always going to get, a lot less traffic. It might also be a newer page because it doesn't have a meta description as well. And no one's shared this content on social media yet. To be honest, not really terribly like site-breaking errors to have on a page. So that's fine. A couple of things to improve: Twitter card, Open Graph Protocol. But let's look at the one that we've all come here for, so the Web Vitals. Now, this is great that we've actually got a page with a problem that we can look at. So we've got the 3 core metrics here. So LCP, FID, and CLS. You probably give away like 5 points to whoever can quickly put in chat what those 3 acronyms stand for. The one thing I want to do is actually just compare it to the homepage as well. So I'm going to open up the homepage in another site. And I just want to show you the core web vitals. Hopefully I didn't break it by doing that. Oh, there we go.
I put the, just for anybody who needs a little refresher on those 3 metrics, I put our core web vitals hub into the chat. It has all of our informational, all of our blogs that really detail exactly what these different metrics are, how you can identify them, why they're not good. Yeah, so this, I just put the link to this in the blog.
Perfect.
We can just quickly check what largest contentful paint is, what cumulative layout shift is, and what first input delay is. So we don't waste your time.
Yeah, it's a great resource, and it's all under that one page, so it's a really handy one to go to. All right, so if we compare the 3 core web vitals on the homepage, it all ranked really well, like perfectly, good. Now, when we look at the internal page, and this is one of the benefits of using the assistant, is I may not have chosen this page if I had to manually go into WooRank, insert the actual URL of the page, but I was able to quickly choose it just by clicking on a random button and picking a page I hadn't looked at before. So we can see that really the only issue is a cumulative layout shift. So something on that page is moving about. So that's the only thing we have to really dig into on this page. Now, if we look down, we get some nice graphs here, get some measurement over the last 30 days as well. So we're actually getting some real lab data here, which is fantastic. Here you can see the cumulative layout shift. It has been acting up on this page, for a little while. There was, about 2 weeks ago when it was sort of working fine, but then perhaps something changed, but also before it was not working well. So this sort of information you can even reflect and say, oh, did I make a change to that website around this date? What happened where it went well, and then it went back to not working so well. Now, if we want to actually look further, we can obviously go into WooRank. We'll now have that page showing up in internal pages, so we can do a deeper dive down into it, into the collector's choice. You can see it's put the score up. It's going to come up with the same issues. And if we go down to performance, all right, and where there we are, performance, it's got the layout shift elements here. This would be what we need to have a look at. So we can take a dive into the website's CMS, into the code, and actually get stuck into getting this fixed up. Looks like it's one container that's causing the problem, and it's not even a huge problem. 0.056 for CLS score is actually still not too bad. And the other button is traffic. So I'm going to hit that. So this is on the home page. And WooRank is going to is it going to do what it's meant to do? And let me try that again.
Yeah, sometimes when I'm on like a webinar or a call, it takes a little bit of time or just doesn't load properly. So don't there we go. Yeah.
All right, so gosh. So here we go. I've broken it. It's going to be on my watch. All right, so we're looking at the actual page traffic now for the collector's choice under 5,000, 5,500. So it doesn't have a lot of, so it was, it's only had 81 page views in the last 30 days. So not a lot of page views. The average time on page is pretty good. Bounce rate is perfect. So no one's bouncing. It's just that it doesn't get a lot of content. You can see that traffic to the page has gone down over time. So this might be something that, Matthew could decide that, well, based on this information, is it the Core Web Vitals that's affecting it? Probably not a huge amount because it's only one little error that he has on that page, which is the LCP score. The CLS score. I'm mixing them up too now. So that that doesn't actually look too bad. It's just really fixing that one div that showed up in the WooRank report. That's and let's see if we can catch it on screen. I know we were able to last time. Just refresh that page. No, it's not. I mean, it's so small. It's not even that noticeable by me.
Yeah, and like Nils has talked about before, like lab data versus field data, like maybe your connection is just a lot stronger,
Yeah, look, and I'd be surprised because I don't normally have great internet. But look, yeah, that's right. That's the thing about this kind of data is that although you might test it in the real world and it'll be fine for you or not fine for you, the great thing about using this data is that it's tracked over time. So it's actually recorded. It's telling you what the data is for this page. And just because I can't see the error, that doesn't mean that score's not been affected.
And that's also why we implement the 75th percentile data, so that some people who might have like the worst connection in the world are not negatively skewing your entire data and your entire results. So
yeah, that's right. And to go one step sort of again further down that line, if we go to Google Search Console, we can see again just at a high level, if I'm looking at problems on the website, and we've looked at this before in other webinars, you can see that desktop and mobile pages are all good, all in the green. Haven't always been that way. So you can see this is a good, I guess, representation that there were issues back in March that then were fixed. And then since then, things have been pretty good. Just with a few, I mean, it's not even a few, it's that sort of one page that I've just picked up now, just by random chance, clicking on hopefully the only page that's broken on the site. But I found it. So that's why I like this tool. It's just very good for day-to-day SEO analysis, looking for the errors on your site and fixing them, because all of these errors will add up to, affect the overall experience. So yeah, I mean, I've still got to say that's a job well done on that website overall. Let's see if I can get the traffic on the other page.
Yeah. So in the meantime, guys, I know that you're a little shy today. So anybody, if you have any questions, even if it's just general SEO questions, feel free to shoot them into the chat because we do have a little bit more time left. So if there's anything that's been bugging you or anything you just need some clarity on, feel free to ask us.
Yeah, happy to answer any and all questions.
If we don't know how to answer it, I will pretend that I didn't see it. So.
And in the meantime, I'm going to actually just check a second page. in random page. Let's pick one that's I'm trying to pick one I'm thinking Matthew wouldn't have looked at. Frequently asked questions. That's this could definitely have a CLS issue.
I saw that.
Yeah, did you? So this is let's see if it checks out. So there's and that's a really beautiful looking gallery.
Maybe one day Matthew will invite us to his gallery.
I hope so. All right, just let that run. I see Matthew's actually written. So yeah, he used the assistants to go through the individual pages. It's a lot. I'm a visual person, and it's easier for me to click through a website using the links, using the hyperlinks, than to kind of, yes, I could crawl the site and I could get a list of URLs and I could plug those into WooRank systematically. But yeah, I work visually. I like to click on things and then look at a score, just like this. So this is why I like the system. That's a pass. Okay, so there you go.
Yeah, again with the lab and field data. See. Yeah,
and that's a great example. I saw a little blip then when the image loaded, but according to Google, there's no blip. If Google says there's no blip, there's no blip. That's really all there is to it. So that page is fine. And this is real. You can rely on this information. It's coming from Google for this page. So it's unequivocal. Great job.
Great. So I'm just going to share my screen quickly.
Sure.
So, okay, hold on. Chrome tab, I probably should have done this earlier. All right. No, window, project settings. Okay. You should be able to see Courtney's screen now. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So for any of you hoping that maybe you could emulate what Matthew did on his website, there's 2 requirements that you need to get all the tools that he had. So number 1, you have to have a WooRank account. That's non-negotiable. To have the WooRank assistant, you have to sign up for WooRank. It's really easy. You can just go to WooRank.com. You can sign up. We have a 14-day free trial, so you can actually try and test these tools before making a total commitment to WooRank itself. But with WooRank, not only the assistant, you get lots of other stuff, but that's another conversation for another day. But you do need to have a WooRank account. So feel free to sign up. If you have already had a WooRank account in the past and you're ready to revisit it, you can always just log into your account and reconnect, or what's the word that I'm looking for? Re-up, reactivate. That's the word I was looking for. Or you can just email me directly, Courtney@woorank.com, and I can reactivate it for you. So second requirement is that you need to actually be in the project space. So just doing the normal review of the homepage is not going to give you access to the WooRank assistant. So you need to actually start your project, which is very, very obvious. We try to make it pretty obvious how to do that. Once you're within your review, there's a button right below your score that says Start Project. Once you're in your project, you have access to all of this other stuff. You have the internal page reviews that Adam showed before. You have a marketing checklist to help you stay organized. You have the assistant, which is what we have been talking about, keyword tools so that you can track your keywords, track your competitors' keywords, see really where you're showing up on Google results for different domains, find different keyword opportunities, all of that right there in the keyword tool, and then the technical site crawl. So you can search every single one of your pages for those kind of invisible issues that might be impacting your search rankings or impacting the way your users can actually interact with you. So all of that is available in the project space. Now here in the project settings, this is how you're going to actually get access to the assistant. So you just navigate over to this assistant tab here, which says Assistant New. And you will see, so obviously this one has already been successfully installed. So you can see in that green light, it will show red if you haven't successfully installed it. You can then scroll down. Now the Assistant tab with the Core Web Vitals was actually in beta until early this week or late last week, I think. So now every single person with a WooRank account have access to this Core Web Vitals tab. All you need to do is make sure that this first step here, customize the assistant, is toggled to on. This is going to give you the ability to track each page's Core Web Vitals. Now toggling this, you get different code if it is or if it is not. So if you've already installed the assistant without the Core Web Vitals, I'm sorry, you do have to reinstall this, but it's very, very, very easy. It's as simple as like installing your Google Analytics. It doesn't require a whole lot of technical knowledge, and we have full installation guides for you. We even have some CMS specific installation guides, like if you have WordPress or if you have Wix or something. You can see here very clearly, just to make sure, that this part right here, when it says collect web vitals, is highlighted to true. And that's how you'll know you have the right one. But if it's toggled on, it should just be the right one. If you have any issues, just feel free to email support@woorank.com, and then you will get that really cool Web Vitals tab on every single one of your pages. So again, this is not just available for the beta users anymore. This is anybody with a WooRank account can start to use this. Now, the thesis statement of our webinar, is this impacting rankings? Not yet. We don't think. It doesn't look like it's had too big of an impact just yet, but this is an algorithm update that Google has been planning and perfecting for many, many, many months. So it seems that the ranking impact is not only smooth, like Adam said, but maybe just they're still kind of tinkering with it and still figuring out how much this is actually going to impact your rankings. So it looks like you still do have some time to like make these fixes and make these changes before Google really cracks the whip on this one. So yeah, now is as good a time as any to download the WooRank Assistant and start using it on all of your pages. Now, Lee Cook, oh yeah, go ahead, Adam. Go ahead.
No, I was just agreeing with everything you just said.
Wonderful. So Lee Cook had a quick question. How many projects are you able to run in the trial? That depends on the plan that you choose. So if you are only optimizing your own website, I would suggest that you go for a pro account. The pro account is going to allow you to have one project for your own website. If you have more than one website that you're working on at a time, so either if you sell SEO services, or if you are a freelancer working on a couple different people's websites, or if you just want to take a much closer look at your competitors, then you can upgrade to the premium account, which will give you 5 projects. Am I still here?
Yep.
Can you guys still hear me? I think sorry, internet problems. I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to stop sharing my screen so that hopefully I can capitalize on all the internet power that I have. If you need more than 5 projects, then of course we can upgrade you to enterprise. So really, sky's the limit if you need it. Just feel free to email me, Courtney@WooRank. Just let me know what your needs are and we can come up with a plan for you. Now we have another question that just came in from Kevin Teenley Brewer. Google showed mobile errors. One was too wide for screen. I checked the website on my phone and it looked okay. Verified the fix without doing anything. What are your thoughts on this? Sorry to put you on the spot, Adam. I do not know how to answer that.
Great question. So if you verify that through Google Search Console, that's actually fairly common, is for an error to pop up, be recorded, and then you verify, and by the time it's finished verifying, it's gone. And in fact, it probably would have gone on the second pass anyway when Google came by and re-indexed. So some error can pop up just spontaneously. It can be confusing, but this is where we talked a little bit about the difference between lab data and in the field data. So Google has, at one of its checks, picked up an error. It's at that time, at that place, at that very exact moment in time, it's had an error on that page. Maybe you were saving the page, maybe you were updating it, maybe for that moment your web host decided not to serve the page properly. There was some kind of error. In this instance, it's something to do with the screen was too wide. So it could really have been something to do with the CSS. It hasn't pulled in all the CSS or the code, hasn't styled the page correctly. Google's went up, that's an error. I'm going to mark that as an error. I'm going to flag it in Search Console, make a big thing about it. But then it's come back later on, and when you verified it, it's encouraged it to come back and recheck that, and it's got in the past. So that's one that you can't really pin down to something that you did. It's just the difference between the field data and what's happening in real time. So it's a good one though. That does happen a lot.
Okay. Well, if there are no other questions, I think we can probably say goodbye now. So thank you guys again for watching. I hope that this helped. I know that we didn't give you such clarified answer on whether or not this is impacting rankings, but again, we don't know yet. We're still monitoring. It's not like we're just like, oh, well, we'll see. Like we actually are monitoring and checking and seeing what sort of impact this is having. So hopefully by next month, we will have more clarification for you about what's going on with the Core Web Vitals, if it's impacting anything. So yeah, just stay tuned. Again, like and subscribe our channel so you'll know when we're going live again. And if you're subscribed to our newsletter, which I'm sure most of you are, you'll get a notification when we're about to go live, take your questions, all that good stuff. And again, if you have any questions about anything, or if you just want help signing up for an account or reactivating your account, just email me, Courtney@woorank.com, and I can get you helped out. All right. Well, thank you, everyone, again, and we'll see you next time.
And thanks again, Matt. Appreciate it.
Yes, thank you, Matthew. Bye.
See you guys.